This is an extract from our AHK Hero Club. We have calls 3 times a week. Please like the video if you learned something.
We tell the AI to create segment for it. Like for example, I have a fruit video, and let me just drop it in here. I have to go to the FFMPEG, I think videos. Yeah, fruit and vegetables. So there are multiple vegetables and fruits are there in this video, and if I tell it to create any length, and then I have multiple prompts to choose, so I will choose the default one, and if I hit
No.
go, sorry, I have to hit go. So if I hit go, then it will gonna analyze
So,
the SRT file.
well, the transcript, yeah, it takes the
Yeah,
transcript
transcript.
and then says, okay, let's find different sections, short
Yeah.
ones.
So in this video, each vegetable is explained, and you can see that precise timing is here. So when the radish is explained, and I can just select this video and extract, and I will have that
Oh,
part of the video.
hold on,
But
because hold
That
on, Irfan.
creates a 12-second video of radishes. Is that what you have?
yes,
Well, we don't even have to do that because, which was a really cool thing. And Irfan actually said this, and I'm like, no, you're crazy. It doesn't do it. He's like, can we use FFmpeg to play the video? And I'm like, I've never heard of FFmpeg rendering, playing a video. I hear it rendering and creating the videos, but not running them. And so he, sure enough, was right. Like FFmpeg can literally play a video. So you can double click before you do any segment.
This is garlic.
Yeah, and then it's like, hey, look at it actually found the garlic.
Very sharp teeth.
So you can see what you're getting before you actually do an export.
Exactly. Exactly, David. Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah. And since we're already using FFmpeg for the extraction or rendering, there's no extra overhead that we're including with the tool, which I love because some people have media player installed, some don't, this and that. So this negates that concern.
This might be, I do a lot of drone video for my real estate, and I just put it on like a set thing, and it does a bunch of stuff for 2 minutes, and then I usually take it afterwards and just chop it up into scenes, and one of this would be able to do it for me.
I would use the transcribe and summarize because this is using the transcript. Unless you're talking, it wouldn't find the segments. But our transcribe and summarize, you can get well, you can still
There's no audio in it. It's just a drone doing its thing, and
yeah.
I manually go in there. Like, here's a rough cut of this scene. Here's a rough cut of that, and then I do something. But that takes a lot of time.
No, our transcribe and summarize, even though it's called transcribe and summarize, it makes it easy to extract chunks as well. As does our quick raw edit tool, but that one I wouldn't quite actually what I would do is more, and I'm happy to give it to you, is like the thing I was using for breaking up our segments right now.
Yeah.
I have code that I point to the file and then I say grab these timestamps of these, and I hit a button and it extracts them like that. Right? Like it's so fast.
Something else you could do, David. I don't know what it looks like, but if you and how you record it. But another thing FFmpeg can do is it can detect the scene change. So I often do that when I'm like, what I do is that when I record a webinar and I want to like rip the PDF out that PowerPoint out they're presenting, I look at when the slides change and it can automatically detect a change in the scene and therefore rip those segments, which I think, Joe, you've done as well. Where you've got some tool like that. But you could maybe, if you're filming one vision and you switch to another perspective, maybe it can detect the change and then sort of help you. Depends how different it is.
Well, almost every tool right now that when you're doing stuff, it's looking at the transcripts for identifying stuff, right? Google has one for looking at video, right? But to your point, Ryan, I did a tool not too long ago where I was removing the silence. So OBS can identify silent areas. But, and I forget if I was talking to you, Ryan, about this, the H.2.5 encoder does a great job of shrinking the file size because, to your point, it detects changes in the screen of what's in the picture. And if we could programmatically figure out when it's copying the
Yeah.
last frames and changes
Yeah.
enough, maybe it could do
So
that.
I've done something like that before, and it's based it's pretty crude insofar as it's like a percentage difference.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
if you wanted, David, if you wanted to kind of auto cut it in a way of, you're doing a roof and then you're doing the sidewalk and then you're doing that potentially, that's potentially possible in a crude, like a first cut
Well,
crude, potentially.
Right.
It
That's
depends how different it is.
the way
But
it
that
does it.
could
Yeah, I
help.
know. It continue everything. If you're just looking at it, as a human where the next scene
yeah.
starts, but there is no definitive thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's filming for
I,
2 minutes straight, so there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
like stopping. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
oh, now we're gonna do a pan, and now we're gonna do
Right.
a zoom,
but
and
Right.
then
what I would
Although I guess in a way, it works on a threshold basis because I've done quite a bit with this stuff. So if the threshold, you'd have to probably manually tweak it, but maybe you kind of
I
gonna
have a
just have
I
to
have
test
I
it.
have a good idea. So FFmpeg create a whole pictures stream. So we will create lightweight pictures of a video. So these kind of hundred of pictures, but then we can load their bitmaps into our tool and then make comparison in percentage. So where two pictures, two frames
Exactly. Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
more difference, then yeah,
Yeah.
we will
That's how I
tell
do
it
it,
like,
Fran. Yeah.
yeah,
That's how I do it as well. Yeah.
what I would do is I would decide on the cadence, like every second or every 2 seconds. I'd go grab a frame at whatever cadence that is, send it off to AI, ask it, what do you see here to get words, right? And then now I basically have a transcript, even if nothing's said,
J-
right?
sorry, I just had a light bulb go off just on that because I think we can kind of connect all these dots together, right? So if the way Ifran's describing it is the way I've done it, and Joe said it as well, take like say 5 second, 1 second, whatever increments, and then you do an image analysis and go, is it materially different up to a threshold, right? The other thing I remember, and Joe, I've sent this to you, and I don't know if you shared it with the group before, or you found it and you shared it with me. The idea of what was it? When you have if you have like 2 hours of video, it was about a bike being stolen. I'll see if I can find it. Do you remember I sent you that, Joe, about a bike being stolen? There was like, imagine like 24 hours of video
Yeah,
of
I do remember.
CCTV, and they said,
It was a,
when is the bike stolen? And they
that was
cut
a
the
long
video in
time
half and
ago
said,
that they
is the
did
bike
that.
stolen? And they
Yeah.
cut it in half again and cut it in half again. And by doing that, you could quickly see where the change happened. I know that I'll have to find the video. It's
I understand
fascinating.
what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was a really quick way to iterate through a lot of vision and see the change. But you could do that, what you want to do, probably with some AI help.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, not seeing this. Because the hardest part of editing a video like that is just getting the rough chunks. And if I have 6 minutes of video, I literally got to watch almost 6 straight minutes the first time through and put cuts in there. You know what I mean? And then go back
Yeah.
later and then do more refined cuts
Yeah.
because there's a lot of junk in between you don't want to see.
Sure. Yeah, don't I know it? And
I
that's
know you do a lot of video, but I'm like, a drone video, I hit a button when I'm up in the air, it does a routine, and then I do another thing, another two
so
minutes, and then it does a routine, and
yeah.
then I got to put it in.
Now, David, what I did, which is what you guys, I think I was showing on my screen when I did one of them, was what I would argue you could do as well. You could, while you're running your drone, you could have something that's recording timestamps where you transition. Now I'm going to do this. Then all you got to do is now have that record of the timestamps when you go back to your video, and you have an idea of where you might want to look, right? That was what initially this tool that I have here, I can give it a quick name. And now it's not always perfect because sometimes, I don't know if you guys saw, I realized like 20 seconds later, like, oh crap, we're on this other topic, right? But it gives me a good guide to where I can go, ballpark it. I don't have to go
You can
track it
jump
down.
right. You can jump right to it as opposed to watching it or fast forwarding. You can just jump.
Well, yeah, but now with the segmenter, I might not have to do any because thankfully for me, we're speaking, right? So the transcript gives me AI, I think all it needs.
Right.
But with the images, it's a little more. But like I said, Google has a video analyzer. Gemini has one that you can feed it images and tell it, hey, decide where to break this up. And the problem is, of course, the bandwidth and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, those
Active
files are
Ryan.
big. They're like 4 to 6 gigabytes big when
Well,
2 minutes.
our effortless video reducer will greatly reduce that file size. Hugely. Oh, which by the way, I made another update. I haven't shared it yet because we need some more tweaking. But let me share my screen here. I'll show you real quickly. Um,
Because just while Joe's bringing it up, yeah, because if you worked on a low resolution version, then you could just do that with the timestamps, right? And
Yeah.
then it would be faster to check the changes.
I
so
probably
I
could.
wanted. Oh, go ahead, David.
It's an automated thing. It's built into the drone. I probably should just, as I'm doing it, just put like, all right, it's changing here at this timestamp always, because it's a set routine. It's always a 2 minute thing I hit. So I can probably just by looking at it and looking at a clock after I hit the start. Oh, it's at this timestamp. It's changing what it's doing. At this timestamp, it's changing. You know what I mean? And then use that, I guess, to break it up so I don't have to.
Yeah. So here is creating segment. I don't know what this is. It's a 15-minute video. Normally, I would drag it into here and then it would process it and greatly shrink it depending on my settings, right? But I wanted it where if I have transcripts, an SRT file either embedded in the video or in the folder, it will automatically grab the English version for me so I don't have to go do all that, right? But I also may want to say, well, what if I want a medium quality? So I can drag it over here and it will generate this the one first minute. And notice here, this is getting it at, come on, at roughly around 6x, right? But when I was doing this, I'm like, hey, so here's the first minute, just FYI, it's going to run. I'm just going to close it. But look, because I have a decent GPU, it now recognizes that I have a decent GPU. Let me do the 264 because I think it's even crazy faster. And when I drag it in here, that's funny. I think because we're running Zoom and stuff, usually this is like 20x or so. Like it's so much faster. Let me see if the does any difference with that one. That's really interesting that suddenly it's slow because it's really so much faster usually.
It's because you're showing it off. That's why.
It could be, yeah.
Because Zoom is
Oh,
using your GPU.
sorry. Also, I think it has to do with that. Let me. Nope. Okay, yeah, I think you're right, Irfan. It's that I'm sharing my screen and running Zoom, and I have OBS running as well, so lots of stuff going on, right?
You got a lot of stuff going on.
But it was cool. I didn't have an easy way before to see the first minute, so now I can choose the quality levels and change my encoder. But this thing, David, like if I even at ultra fast with we'll do the H265 and low quality. Like when you take a video and drag it into there, and here's actually I'll do the whole thing, right? So we'll the H265, the GPU version will be slightly bigger than if I just did the regular 260. I don't understand the why. When you use your CPU, it does a better job compressing compared to your GPU as far as the file size, but the GPU is much faster, right? But here, when it's done, it will show us a percentage of how much it reduced the file size. And for Zoom calls, it's usually like around 20% the size. It saved 80%,
There's a lot of static stuff on the screen, so it's able to
What's that?
shrink it. It's a lot of with the Zoom calls. There's a lot of static stuff on the screen,
gotcha. Yeah.
so it's able to compress it.
And especially for using the 265, that's what it does that really well. When to your point, right? When you have people talking or it's a regular video with like a webcam or a movie or something, 265 doesn't shrink it nearly as much. But when it's a screen share, a static picture, there's a big area that doesn't change or stuff. It does a great job of reducing file size. But yeah, this tool, because you can also change I wanted something really simple, right? So you can easily shrink down the audio and video quality. And you can drag 20 videos in here and it does them all. But it's crazy how much space I save on my hard drive by using this thing.
We can lower resolution too of the video if
Oh, this is at low, and the quality is still pretty darn good.
Mm.
So yeah, so this happened to be 36% the size of the original. So anyway, if you have big files, David, man, I can't emphasize enough. Like this thing is, or use Handbrake, but Handbrake is so much more complicated in the settings.
Right.
That was why I created it. Was I was so tired, and that's also why in Handbrake I go add the subtitles and embed, and it's just such a annoyance. And I'm like, why don't I don't care. Let me just be selfish and create my own and only care about English and only look for English and have, if you find it, put it in there. I could go actually transcribe it and render it, to create the transcriptions myself if it's not there, or look up the video and download it if I care to. But yeah, it's very, very cool. Oh, look who decided to show up.
Hey guys.
Your mic's low, as is.
Oh yeah. Okay. Give me a second.
But yeah, that was a nice upgrade for the. Now, what I haven't finished was it did a decent job of detecting my GPUs, but when Irfan ran it, I think it showed something else, right, Irfan, if I remember right? And we're like, we need to build some
Yes.
extra checks.
So it was detecting GPU for me, but I don't have that GPU.
Grab 25% off all our AHK goodies, courses, scripts, and custom work so you save cash while building your toolkit like a boss. Explore our huge library of 466 plus hours of recorded AHK tutorials. Watch, rewind, and master tricks at your own pace.